Hey everybody, Town Media Director Steve Brogan here, and sorry, excuse the giggles. These guys got me laughing. So I'm Town Media Director Steve Brogan, and it's Wednesday, so not a usual broadcast day, but we're going to do a special fire safety blitz with Brad Biscarnet and John Pelletier from the Tyngsborough Fire Department, talking about a bunch of interesting fire safety things. So without further ado, welcome guys. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So aside from odd hobbies and whatnot, what do you guys want to talk about today? What's going on?
Well, I guess today we're going to talk about kind of, spring cleaning. While everybody's in the spring cleaning mood, you should kind of take a look around your own house while you're cleaning.
Okay.
Make sure that everything is tidy, neat. There's no fire hazards around any flammable type of objects, your water heater, your stove, oven,
good point. Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah. You know, one that I hadn't thought of until just this morning. Actually, I was surfing on Facebook and cleaning out your dryer vent, all the lint that builds up in the back of that, because a whole bunch of it will build up over time. So that might be a good spring cleaning one too to think about.
Exactly. I mean, and even calling in a professional to have them clean your actual duct vent going from the outside.
Oh, okay.
They do sell some products like that you can hook up to a power drill and go from the outside, and it's like a rotating brush that can clean out your duct. But I recommend calling a professional to do that.
Yeah.
Now's a good
sense.
time to go through and check your check your cables, check your extension cords, that type of stuff that people don't people really don't focus on. 2 weeks ago, I had a huge cable that I bought, one of those 10-foot cables, so I can lie in the bed and be on my phone or whatever.
Oh, like a phone charge cable, right?
Yeah, phone charge cable.
Yeah.
And it was completely burnt all the way through one of the sides. So, and again, I mean, if I hadn't just seen it, a tragedy could have possibly struck. So
I'm not going to call out the particular store, but those are usually sold on the counters of various drug stores, let's just say.
Yeah.
Seen them many times, and I've had one do the same thing. It frayed at the ends.
Yes.
Yeah, so let me really quick, I forgot to do this, but just so you guys know, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them on Facebook. I'm watching the Facebook stream, so if you wanted to ask Brad or John anything about fire safety, feel free to ask them there. You can also watch this on Facebook and on YouTube and Tyngsborough.gov and on Comcast 8, Verizon 29 here in town.
Right.
So those can be
They can be.
treacherous.
I'm not going to advocate for any store to go to, but obviously if you were to go to, the Apple store or something and pay $20 for the cable, and people go, well, it's $20. I'm not sure I want to do that when I can get one at X, Y, and Z store for $2.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes, you get what you pay for.
Well,
So
the problem is
fortunately,
convenience.
Of course, yeah. And fortunately, I was able to see it. It was a blue cable, so it stuck out pretty good. That there was, it was fraying and stuff on it. So that type of stuff, and just look at, power cables and stuff that you've had, I mean, I have a computer desk in my house, and there's a zillion things plugged into it that I know shouldn't be, but I try to check it on a regular basis to make sure that everything's working appropriately, nothing's frayed, and that type of stuff. So now's a good time when I don't necessarily pull out my refrigerator to sweep underneath it. My wife would like me to do that. I don't necessarily do that, but somebody like my mother-in-law absolutely would pull the refrigerator out and clean underneath it, and that's the time to check the plugs and check the areas in that area that you don't see on a regular basis.
Okay.
So
You heard it here, folks. He makes the mother-in-law pull out the refrigerator.
No. I said she does that at her house.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
So if you had
We
to
don't need
go
medical services over at my house for that.
So if you had to go, like on, say, a list of 1 to 10, 1 being the most important, 10 being the least important of that 10, what would be the first thing people should look at in terms of like something to check in the springtime to make sure that it's clean or passing, like the dryer vents or things like that? What do you think is like number 1 on that list?
I mean, I would have to.
What do you get the most calls for? Let's put it that way.
Honestly, I mean, we've had quite a few lawnmower fires.
Really?
Yeah, people they tend to try and refill their lawnmower halfway through when the lawnmower was hot.
Okay.
They refill it, and then they get a little bit of overspill.
I've had
And
that
then
happen to me too. Yeah, it usually goes out quickly, flashes off. But yeah, no, that can be.
Right.
I could see that being bad.
That's one, and some people, if they're like myself, who aren't as diligent and rake the leaves in the fall, will tend to rake them in the spring. And if you're starting to cover vents and that type of stuff, that go from outside of your house, you run into possible CO problems. So, that's another thing that people just rake the leaves and I'll get it tomorrow. It's going to rain this afternoon or whatever, and they just leave it there. And it really, all those vents, the dryer vents and all those home vents, really need to be open, and clean air needs to be going in and out of those things and they need to vent properly
Okay.
from that. So
You know what I was just thinking too on the thought of the lawnmower is you get over the winter you get rodents that like to build up little nests in the
Nests,
thing.
of course.
You turn the thing on and now suddenly you got to get a fire from all the nest.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I want to jump back real quick
Sure.
onto to the cell phones there. And I mention this when I go into the schools and I tell the preteens and teenagers, and I have them do a show of hands. And I ask them how many kids plug in their phones at night and then put their phone underneath their pillow. And
yeah,
a good 70-80% will do that.
that's bad, right?
And I actually literally I tell them, I'm begging you right now, please do not do that anymore. And
That's a good point. Yeah.
So I mean, whether they're passing that information on to their parents or not, but I'm putting it out here on on Facebook Live,
Right.
telling the parents to make sure they don't have their kids.
And it's
sleep with
and
their
to your point,
phones.
it's not just the parents though. I'm sorry, it's not just the kids.
Yeah.
It's the parents too.
Even parents.
I've been known, to put it closer to my head or whatever because I set the alarm and I don't want everybody else to wake up from that or whatever.
Mhm.
So it's right there. But yeah, you're really gonna make an effort into put it far enough away, put it on a solid surface, not on clothes, not on that type of stuff.
Right,
because
yeah.
That stuff heats up. I mean again.
Don't throw it on your pile of dirty laundry.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Back to the
Next year,
kind of the cheesier chargers that are out there. I mean, they heat up a lot more than some of
It's
the
true,
other ones,
right.
and you
Yeah.
may you really could run into a situation, and that's the last thing you want to wake up to. You'd rather wake up to that bad alarm than your room on fire.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'll put my tinfoil hat on for a second with the Wi-Fi signals and whatnot coming through your phone. Also, you don't want to sleep with that next to your head. That's probably not. This is
Yeah.
obviously aside from fire
Yeah.
safety, but probably not the best for your brain.
I assume it's
Yeah.
not. I can't really speak to that, but
I mean, things I've read say that
maybe
it's,
I can
too
too, I
much
don't
of it, but
right.
even still. So,
Yeah.
you know what I wonder too is still on the cell phone cord thing. Maybe the cheaper ones were kind of intended to be used in a car where it's a much lower voltage. You're not plugging it into a wall socket, which is a lot higher voltage than a car.
They can be, but
accessory port. You know what I mean?
They can be, and maybe they aren't tested that way, but I think it's pretty naive of whatever company's selling it that people are just going to use them in their car.
Right.
I mean,
True.
You don't have a
I agree.
10-foot. You don't have a 10-foot power cord for your car,
Right.
unless you got a really big car. So
That's a good point. All right. So what other kinds of things should we be watching out for? Let's go to number 2 or 3 or 4 and so on down the list. What do you guys think of what do you get a lot of calls for aside from the lawnmowers and things like that?
trip and falls.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff damage in the wintertime, right? So
Okay.
ice and all that stuff is now deteriorated.
Mhm.
Possibly people's steps, their driveways, potholes, that
okay.
type of stuff. I mean, take a look around your yard and see what hazards were there before. I was out raking a couple days ago, and I fell in this huge hole, which my dog had somehow dug over the course of the
no.
winter, right? And
Yeah.
so I didn't even realize that was there, and it was covered up with leaves, and and I didn't see it. So some of that stuff that now that the weather's good, you're outside, kind of reacclimate yourself with your backyard. We've had a lot of storms over the winter.
Mhm. Lots of branches and
A lot
stuff
of
down.
branches down. Take
Yep.
a look up. Take a look up and see. There's branches that are just hanging on, literally by a thread that could possibly fall down at any point in time. Whatever, if we don't recommend you climb in the trees and pull that stuff for yourself. There's
Right.
there's tree services that can also come and do that. But
Yeah.
I mean, if it's small enough, you can get a trimmer or something to get it and pull that stuff down. But take a look around. You've essentially kind of been hibernating for 4 months here, and things have changed in your yard.
Mhm. Well, they sell the like I have one of those 14-foot trimmer poles, extension poles that you use to cut branches, and I use that to grab
Yeah.
sometimes the loose branches like you
Yeah.
mentioned, because it will fall on your head. I mean,
Yeah,
it may be a small branch. It's still going to hurt when it comes down from 30 feet in the air, or whatever
Yeah.
it is, 15 feet.
I'm not gonna advocate. I've seen
Maybe don't
I've
necessarily do that.
I've
but-
seen bad things happen with those too. So I mean, really, call the professional unless you can reach it with your hands or even a step ladder.
Yeah.
Call a professional and have them.
Yeah, it's
have
probably a
them
good
do
idea.
it. But there's
Yeah.
you look up now and there's even driving down the road you can see there's branches just hanging by a limb up there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, adding on top of clearing the clutter, even in your house. You know what I mean? You don't need the newspapers from 1976.
Yeah. That's a
And-
tough
and-
one for
and-
people to get rid of stuff like
and,
that. Yeah. There's a lot of people that
and,
can't. I
you know,
might
you-
need that
you-
someday.
Yeah, your old, you get
It is.
four big copies of the, Encyclopedia Britannicas and
Yeah.
stuff like that from the 80s, and there's the internet now, so you don't have to keep all that stuff.
Yeah.
Go through your house and.
Unless you're old school and you want to flip
Yeah.
through the pages, you like
I mean,
the
I
smell
s-
of paper.
I mean, I was just literally talking about this morning, and like, I need to go through my house and, even clothes and whatever it is. If you haven't touched it in 5 years, get rid of it.
Good point.
You know?
It makes me wonder too. Like, I wonder if you guys ever think about this. Is like the more of that kind of stuff that people keep in the house, those are also flammable. And
Correct.
so, if your house catches fire, there's that much more stuff that can like continue a fire going.
Well, yeah, there's that, and then there's also you have your normal escape routes going out of your house, right? Well, if it's stacked with all sorts of stuff, we've gone into houses numerous times where there's an elder person that has a difficult time walking, and has a walker, and literally there's enough stuff in the hallways that appears to me that could be moved to a better location, that they can barely get the walker down the hallway.
Really?
So now you're possibly now putting yourself at greater risk of just falling down. The fire load, the trip hazard, all of that stuff is combined with an unsafe thing. Some people, they live by themselves, so it's difficult for them to do that stuff.
Let me ask you this. Are there any particular items, and I ask this because I've heard of one specific item that can be a major tripping hazard, but are there any particular items that you guys know of that get a lot of calls or cause a lot of calls for falls?
Area throw rugs.
Okay, that's
Throw
exactly
rugs.
the item I was
Area
thinking.
throw. Myself, I hate them.
Yeah,
because
they drive me crazy.
They curl up, they trip on them.
Yeah. You can get that sticky tape to actually keep them down, but
Right.
after
How many people actually do that though?
Yeah.
yeah, and
Especially in
after,
like a bathroom.
and after about a
Yeah.
year or so, the traction, they curl up, and you have issues like that. And it's one of those things that you're gonna trip over it like 10 times and go, oh, I gotta do something about that, and then you never really get around to it until you actually fall down and really injure yourself, and then you decide to do something about it. But yeah, that's a huge one. And wires and cables, extension cords.
Right.
You'd be surprised how many people, we go into a lot of houses that, if Steve TV calls me up and says, hey, come to my house for a dinner party, my assumption is that you and your wife are going to pick up the house a little bit, and that's going to be it, right? And
my wife would scream if I didn't.
Exactly, and John's the same way. But we're coming to people's houses. They've called 911 on an emergency basis.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They obviously didn't have time to clean up their house and everything. So their house is just like it normally is on a daily basis. So we show up there and we realize that right across their kitchen they have there's no outlet next to their microwave. So they have a microwave that's plugged in with an outlet that's with an extension cord that's going across the kitchen floor to the living room that people have to walk over every single day.
Yeah, right.
So it's that type of stuff, but it comes second nature to them because they're there. That's their house. That's the way it is.
Right. They're used to avoiding it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they have visitors over or guys like us coming over. That's it's not a great idea to begin with to have. But it's dangerous for other people coming to your house also.
Yeah. I wonder about too underrated extension cords for things like a microwave, which draw a lot of power, and you're using like the little cheap lamp type extension cord or something like that.
And you've also plugged your computer and your phone and and your Xbox and everything else into it.
Yeah,
also.
you're overloading it.
Yeah,
like Christmas time when people are overloading power strips and stuff.
Exactly.
Half of these homes across, right around Muscatbeck, are all vacation cottage homes. They weren't designed to have all these electronics and 60-inch TVs and multiple computers and all this power being drawn, and it's the system is being overloaded. So they need to watch what they're plugging in, and possibly
or
have an electrician
upgrade their system or
Exactly.
whatever they got to do. But that costs money, and that
Right.
costs,
Yeah. It's
so
no
you
small
really,
feat for sure.
But now is we kind of say the fall after the summer goes and the spring. Now is a good time to kind of, it doesn't take forever, right? It takes literally like 15 minutes to walk around your house, just reevaluate everything and say, do we still need this junk that's over here, or can this outlet be moved somewhere else, or this extension cord be moved somewhere else, or things like that. It doesn't take long, but you really could save yourself from not getting some injuries from just having this stuff hanging around like that.
All right. So general cleanup, general maintenance.
General cleanup.
Just looking around, being observant of the things in your home, and maybe thinking about it a little more rationally. Well, not rationally, but a little more realistically in terms of like if somebody had to run through this area.
Correct.
Exactly. Think of it not on a 70-degree summer day that the nice breeze is coming through the windows and stuff. Think of it as there's an emergency, there's a fire, there's something, and somebody's getting out of the house. Oh well, that back door is blocked with the vacuum that we never use. Well, that could really impede your exit. God forbid something happens.
Yeah,
But you just put it there because there's no room in the closet anymore and whatever. So just sit back and evaluate. And I mean, we can go online and we can try to find something online to something official online to post about different. Maybe there's a checklist or something we can find that people can actually go down through the house and
I'm going to Google that while you talk. I'll look.
Okay. Yeah. And take a look and make sure everything is kosher in their house. So,
All
but
right.
outside and inside, just take a quick look through, and a lot of this stuff doesn't really cost money. It's just a matter of repurposing or remanaging it to a different location.
I mean, usually, and we'll see this many times, in someone's hallway, where it's fine to walk down the hallway, but during a medical emergency, we'll come into their house, have a stair chair, where we load the patient onto the chair, and then try and bring them outside, and there's not enough room to get them, to wheel them out of the house. So we need to, move coffee tables and, little tables they have in the hallways, or little, knick-knack tables, I'll call them, and have to, rearrange their house just so that we can get them out of the house safely.
Right.
So here's one I just pulled up. Actually, looks like it's pretty good. Let's see. They actually break it up by the various rooms. So you've got kitchen, family room, and living room. And on kitchen, you've got install and test a smoke alarm, keep group and organize appliance cords, keep a fire extinguisher close by. I do. I don't know how many people actually out there do that, but I keep a fire extinguisher right nearby.
Right. Obviously, we recommend that. They actually have these new things now. I was just at a class yesterday speaking with somebody from the Mass Fire Academy. They have these. I don't know how new they are. They was new to me because I had just learned, but you might know these canisters that actually go in the hood of your.
Correct. They're like tuna fish cans.
Yes.
And it's a fire extinguisher?
Correct. If you have a grease fire, it actually, the heat will cause it to actually to open up.
Oh,
and
really?
It's
like your own little personal Ansel system, whatever they call that,
so
the restaurant systems kind of thing.
Kind of a stretch, but but close to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
Which is not saying. I'm sorry to interrupt you, John. Which is not saying you shouldn't still keep an extinguisher nearby, because you could have different fires than just actually being on the stove.
Right.
But it's a new thing, and I think we Googled the price yesterday, and I think it was somewhere around $70 or something at one of the hardware stores.
So not
for
cheap, but
for two.
Oh, for a 2-pack.
So
Okay,
that's
not bad.
That was pretty good, and I think you only need really one, depending on the size of your stove, obviously.
Okay.
But I think you only need one right around your stove.
And when
correct,
people are buying extinguishers, is it still advisable that they have an ABC version, the one that covers basically all the bases?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, because they do come in other versions. You can get the A's, the B's, the ABs, and then there's the ABCs.
ABC is a good general purpose.
Right.
Okay.
Fire extinguisher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But we also encourage people to, even though you have the fire extinguisher, I mean, we really want you to get out of the house and call 911.
Yeah, don't try to battle the blaze.
Yes,
but if it's something small, maybe.
If it's really small and you are comfortable in doing that, then by all means go ahead if you feel that your life is not in jeopardy. But we recommend that if the fire extinguisher is under the counter, right where the fire is, and there's a whole bunch of other things that are going on in that situation. Get out, call 911, and we'll come out and help you.
Fire freaks me out. I'll tell you that right now. I actually keep one near my bed for the specific reason of if there was ever a fire and I couldn't get out of my room or couldn't get to my kids, I could at least use that to hopefully blast through and be able to get to them the heck out of there, or myself. But fire freaks me out, man.
I'm glad you told us that. I didn't know if there was that much hot romance at your house.
Well, I mean, there's that too. I didn't want to say that. Just keep it PG, but. Okay, so back to this list. We'll just finish this up because this might not be totally germane, but so clean the microwave, burners, and stoves. That's kind of obvious, right? Make the mother-in-law clean under the fridge.
Right, yeah.
Store towels.
I'm going to have a problem when I get home. I have a feeling of this.
You're in so much trouble. Store towels and napkins away from the stove. That seems like an obvious thing. I wonder how often that happens, though, where you get somebody has a towel that just maybe falls nearby, or they just store them on top. A
lot of people hang their oven mitts and stuff right above the stove, and I mean that stuff. You could probably go into any house in Tyngsborough, as paranoid as some people may be about being safe and protecting fire and this and and find issues. So we're all guilty
I
of
believe
it.
it.
Myself, John, you guys. I mean, it definitely is something we're all guilty of.
There's definitely things that we all miss,
course.
right?
Of course.
I mean, there's a story talking about the oven and flammable objects there. This is a true story in Tyngsborough a few years back.
Yep.
there was a house that caught fire, and the people had pizza the night before, left a cardboard box on the stove.
Top of the stove. Yeah.
Their dog smelled
done that.
the pizza and was pawing at the stove, and it was a gas stove, and turned the pilot on.
No
you know,
way, really.
And lit the box on fire, which lit the kitchen on fire.
Yeah, I've done that, but I don't have a dog that's tall enough to reach the stove. But
so the
even
people
still.
were without a home for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
The dog went to stay with a relative.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 weeks later. Did the same exact thing to the other people's house.
I think you've told me this story before, and I'm still equally
it's
astounded that actually happened.
So I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Wow. What are the chances of that happening?
Right.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. Well, what are the chances of it happening twice with the same dog?
Right. Yeah.
Same incident. So I mean, that's why it's important.
Wow.
So I mean, if a dog and a child could do the same thing, especially if you have the knobs on the front of the stove and the oven.
Right.
Let me ask you this, actually, while you're mentioning that, do they sell anything that can prevent? So I have a 1.5-year-old who is now interested in touching and turning every knob and button that he can find. The stove knobs have been one of the things that he's had, a moderate interest in. Right. Is there something that they sell that blocks that? Anything you've ever seen in the field, or
I don't know. If
suggested
I haven't
items?
seen anything. I mean, I know myself having children being there. I had a stove like that, and I had to take the knobs off.
Did you really?
Yeah,
okay.
and just put them on top, and then every time we use them, just put them back on, use it, and then take them back
That's
off.
kind of what my next option might have been if there wasn't something I could find to block it.
Take them off. You can use pliers just to turn them.
Right. Hey, mother-in-law, do you have those pliers?
Yeah, exactly.
Cleaning the refrigerator. We're just kidding, by the way. All right, let's go back to this list here. So we've got we got through the kitchen list. Then they've got the family room. So clear entryways and toys of clutter. So toys, obviously, if you're a parent, you get tons of toys everywhere.
Which is an ongoing, it's an ongoing problem.
Continuous struggle. Yeah, it's very annoying, actually. Check extension cords for cracks and fraying. Use LED light bulbs.
Because they're cooler and use less wattage, so they have less draw on the system.
Not cooler like Fonzie cooler. But, cooler.
but they are, like temperature-wise, they're cooler. So you can have a 65-watt equivalent LED bulb that you can actually touch, but on an incandescent bulb you can't touch because it's hot.
Okay.
Right.
So maybe that would lessen the chance that the extension cord on there would...
Correct, because there's also less of a draw, using less amperage on
not as much heat
lines.
generated. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, all right, that's an interesting one.
And saves you power, saves you money in the long run.
That's true, too. In my house, we have all LED bulbs. I switched them over when we first moved into this new house. And I didn't do it for thinking of the power draw. I was thinking more just the energy savings and the money savings. Interesting. Wow. Give electronics space to ventilate heat. There we go. We talked about that one. It's actually a pretty good list. Yeah. I just happened to find this on Google. Thank you, Google. And then they move into the living room. Clean and sweep the fireplace if you have one. Probably a good idea. What about gas fireplaces?
So those should be maintained at every, have a service technician come in and check.
Okay.
To make sure it's working properly.
Once a year, yeah.
Really
Similar to your regular furnace.
Okay. Yeah. Do you advise people turning them off in the summertime, to turn off by turning them off? I mean, turn off the pilot in the actual gas service to those.
I think it really depends on what what the manufacturer recommends.
Okay.
And when you have their cleaning, I guess the service rep that comes out there, I would ask that. I mean, personally, ours we don't. We
just leave it on all the time.
We just leave it on.
Yeah.
But I think it really depends on. I'm not sure the ins and outs of getting it back on after, if you have to have somebody come out and do that, or I would default to the manufacturer or to the
ask the cleaner.
The cleaner on
okay.
how to do that.
I have one. And I don't like.
They have there is gas inserts that have an actual lit pilot all the time, and they have some with an electronic ignition source. So there's no actual gas flowing all the time if it's an electronic ignition.
Okay.
But I would still go back to the manufacturer recommendations or
that makes sense.
The service person.
Okay.
Right.
Like I say, I have one. I'm not really a huge fan of it, but more because it just wastes propane. But that's just me. Let's see. Let's go back to this list. So we got we're down in the living room. Keep fireplace flue closed unless burning wood. Why is that?
Well, one, you're letting all the heat out, and you're creating a flow path.
Okay.
For air. So if a fire were to happen in your house, now you're actually causing a flow path. It's like like venting the fire, letting it feed.
It's like opening up a door and you get the sudden blast of air. Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting. And that's always there.
Could be that. Could be animals too. You don't want animals to climb in there, and they start building nests and stuff, and then
which can also cause a fire.
And then come the fall, you turn the fireplace on, and there you go. You have a bird's nest in there.
Roasted squirrel is not so delicious.
Exactly.
Oh, here's a good one, actually. Hide lighters and matches away from children.
Of course,
Absolutely.
that's always.
Yeah.
And candles are a big. Candles are another big one too.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you say lighters, and it's less and less each year. So I've been doing the fire education in the schools and preschools in town,
Okay.
and literally I did it this past year and asked the kids, do they know what these are, lighters and matches? And this past year, not a single kid knew what they were.
Really?
They didn't know what they were. And
Maybe because smoking is less
correct
in
yes.
homes. Yeah.
Yep. So smoking is less and less prevalent. So
Interesting.
but still, you teach them these are made for for lighting candles and whatnot, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
tell them that they're tools and not toys. And
Mhm. Sad part is they don't know what a vape pen is. I bet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Back
Yeah.
to the lighters, and another good one is the grill starters.
Okay. The
You know,
long
you
stick
go out,
lighters.
you go out, you start the grill,
Mm-hmm.
you put it down,
Mm-hmm.
and then you walk away. And there's a picnic or something going on,
Mhm.
right? Or a picnic. I mean, a cookout, and you have family members there, right? And that thing is literally just sitting there. And people just kind of move it away because they're done using it and
Right.
don't actually take it and walk it back to the closet that they
Put
got
it
it
away
from.
in there.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's literally just sitting there. So
Okay.
that's another one. Really, if you got it, do what you got to do with it, and then go put it back in a high place or someplace where where it can't be grabbed by small children.
On top of that, sometimes, a lot of times, they make them look like a fun object, like a toy something or other, a toy, it's a
course.
toy gun or
Of
it's a
course,
toy
yep.
airplane
Yep.
or, whatever it is.
Yep.
And then that just makes the kid like gravitate towards this thing like a
Exactly.
moth to a light. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good one. And let's see. The last thing on this list is, and I hate these, I will say right off the bat, place candles away from blankets and other flammable materials. I hate candles. I've had
Yeah.
incidences with candles and they freak me out. Again, I don't like fire. Yeah.
Especially nowadays, because they have the LED candles,
Yep.
and they're really just as they look just as nice.
They give the same look,
Yes,
right? Yeah, they just don't
exactly.
get the scent
They
or
don't get
whatever
the
in them.
scent,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But I mean, if you're looking for the scent, get a plug-in.
Yeah,
the,
right,
The
true.
little
Yeah.
Good point.
delayed plug-ins, plug that in. Fill your
Mm-hmm.
your room with whatever
Plug
scent.
it in, plug
yeah.
it in. He's not the
Right.
commercial yet.
But,
And no free
That's really good.
candles. I mean, definitely, if you're going to use candles, use and again, I don't want to advocate for, but the Yankee candle type, the glass that's
Yes.
inside the glass
Yep.
that has a top and everything.
Yep.
These freestanding candles, like you see in churches and stuff, or you used to. Those are bad news. They
Mhm.
can knock over very easily. There's nothing protecting them. It's not a great idea to be using those.
I had one of those, and this was one of my experiences, probably actually I think the only experience really with a candle, bad one. But I had one of the freestanding ones on a glass dish that they put on, which is supposed to catch the
right.
wax.
Yeah.
And it didn't smother itself out when it got to the bottom. I had fallen asleep,
Yeah.
and it actually burnt through my coffee table. And then it finally, at that point, what it did is got to the bottom, cracked the glass.
Yeah.
The flame continued on down through my coffee table, 3/4 of the way through,
Yeah.
and then finally, I think some wax fell on top of it and finally smothered it out.
Yeah.
But I was sleeping right next to
Yeah.
it. Within another few minutes of that happening, and
They can get knocked over very easily, especially if you have pets. And
Yeah, that too,
kids,
right.
And
Mhm.
they're just not a great idea.
yeah.
Not a
How
great idea.
how often does it happen that you get a call with something that ends up being a candle or some type of obvious thing that you could have prevented?
Just last month.
Yeah,
Yeah, really?
We actually had a pretty close call last month.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the residents had a candle. Unfortunately, they were alert enough to what was going on,
Okay.
took care of the problem, and then called us to respond to make sure that everything had been taken care of. But I mean, and again with the it tends to be with some of the senior community tends to use them a little more than the younger community.
Mhm.
The older
I don't know. You haven't
candles.
seen my wife.
The older
She loves
the-
candles. Sorry,
the,
Eddie.
the freestanding older candles because they've had them or they're
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
and
that makes
so
sense.
we don't really we definitely don't advocate for those at all, but
Mhm.
we don't literally just last month
Yeah.
we had one case on that.
Okay. And that's probably, I'm betting that's a year-round thing as opposed to like in the wintertime when people are using,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
Christmas tree, let's say, or some,
Mhm.
some item that you only
Right.
use during a certain season.
well, they're big on Halloween,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah,
they're
right,
big, they're
right.
big when the power's out. I mean,
right.
the last thing
right,
I would do
yeah.
would be lighting candles when the power's out. I would use flashlights, but
Mhm.
again, if you're
People
not
have
if you-
'em, though,
if,
and
and
they-
if you're
yeah.
not prepared for the storm, right? And you didn't
Mhm.
run and get your bread, milk, and your batteries, you're up the creek, and so you have candles, and that's what you're going to use. So people use it, then, and then the holiday time, there's always, different things that they're using it for religious purposes. So,
Right.
I mean, they're definitely around,
Mhm.
I mean, I think that, people in the summer probably maybe aren't using it as much, but then you have those other hazards with, the grill and all the other stuff that we got to focus on. It's like, it's a year-round business to try to just keep people on task and focused on what are dangers in their house that they can have.
Well, clearly there's enough problems that it keeps you guys busy, obviously. And we've been lucky today, actually, in that this last half hour you haven't had any calls or anything, thankfully.
That's
So
true.
we
Thanks for
probably
jinxing us, Steve TV.
you're
Yeah,
welcome.
appreciate
Do you
it.
have anything else to get to, or should we push our luck any further here? We've gone a half hour, so I just want to make sure.
I think that's pretty good. We want to mention we do have our open house coming up. I know it's ways away. It's going to be October 5th this year.
Okay.
So we want everybody to put that on the calendar and do that. And this summer we're probably going to be having a couple of touch of trucks and that type of stuff.
Excellent.
And
Awesome.
as always, we welcome everybody to swing by the station for a tour or to have your kids play on the trucks or whatever. And we're looking forward to the Memorial Day Parade, which is coming up, which you always play a big part in also.
Right, yeah.
So-
Yeah, you roll all the trucks through. And you guys have a new truck that will be showing up sometime, I think it's August or September by the time it finally gets here.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Right.
confirm or deny when the date of that actually
Something
is.
like that. That's
Yeah.
kind of the estimate anyways.
Yes, yes. We're very excited about it. We hope to get it. We have a couple of the older trucks that are showing their age.
Yeah. Ready to go.
And
Yep.
yeah, we're looking to get a new fancy truck. We haven't done one in quite some time now. So besides the ambulances, of course, but it's been it's due time.
I would love to have one of those in my garage. I think that'd be just awesome. I hate fire that much. I'm that afraid of it.
Yeah. That sounds like you're at the paranoia state at this point. Yeah.
Maybe slightly. I
Yes,
don't know.
maybe slightly.
Yeah, just,
Maybe
I have
slightly.
this fear of burning alive.
Yeah.
Just that whole thing is just
Yeah.
it freaks me out. That's
But
why.
I
But I
think
mean-
that's pretty much it. We got coming
Yeah.
up.
All right.
What
Cool.
I say with you is respect fire.
Yes.
Treat it
Yeah.
as a living entity.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yeah.
respect fire, it will respect
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right.
burning season is
Okay.
is actually coming to an end.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
And
what's the end date of this
May
now?
1st.
May 1st. Okay.
May 1st.
All right.
So between now and then, again, get a permit.
Mm-hmm.
You get your permit, call the station the day you're going to burn. Make sure you have a hose nearby.
Mhm.
Keep it small, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The town does, I'm not going to say encourage, we do allow cooking fires and very small thing,
Mhm.
after.
Like a campfire, you're gonna cook hot dogs on that kind of
cook-
thing.
Yeah, on
Okay.
that. Again, same rules, don't do it when it's windy. Keep a hose nearby. Make sure it's out.
Mm-hmm.
All
Make
that
sure you have enough hose that you can actually reach further than your fire
Exactly.
too.
Exactly.
I will say that.
Exactly.
I've learned that the hard way.
Right. And then make sure the area is clear. I mean, you don't, if you didn't do well with the raking and all the other stuff, and there's
Yeah.
a bunch of leaves nearby,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's not a, it's not a great practice. And real quick, the grills really should not be on your deck. Have it in your yard on a patio somewhere.
Yeah.
You want to have it.
I
at
think a
least,
lot of us are guilty of that. I hate to say it.
I know, well,
Yeah.
it's easy, right?
I
You
am
cook
too.
it, and you bring it right inside. But 15 to 20 feet away from your house, you end up with a grill fire. You don't
Mhm.
end up with a house fire.
Mhm.
And so that convenience, as always, does not outweigh the danger of having your house catch on fire from
Right.
a
You're
grill.
right. No, it makes
'Cause you
good
don't-
sense. Yeah.
You don't want to
Yeah.
walk with the lamb kebabs more than 15 feet into the house. So.
I kept the pool's gone now, but I kept mine last summer next to where the pool is. The pool was off our
Yeah,
deck.
so you could just push it in.
It
to the
literally,
pool,
yeah, just
catch
something
fire,
happened.
yeah.
Like, oh, there it goes. All right, let's go get. It's called pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Call for
Exactly.
pizza.
So,
The pool's gone now though, so I don't have that option anymore. So maybe moving it off the deck is probably a smarter idea.
probably a smarter
Yeah.
idea.
Let me ask you this real quickly before we close it up.
Yep.
What's safer, propane grills or charcoal grills?
We're not going to comment on that.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
it's all safe if you
if you're active.
if
Right.
you take the time ahead of time, set it up properly, do what you need to do,
Okay.
and you always need to pay attention to what's going on because
Right.
it's very easy, especially now. It's very easy to start the grill, go inside and check the Bruins score, and realize that there's a penalty shot or something else is happening, and you realize that you forgot that all that stuff is
Mhm.
is still out there. So you got to do diligence on that stuff, whether it's open fire, it's gas, it's propane, it's
Mhm.
charcoal, whatever. I mean, there's going to be the food connoisseurs that are going to argue what tastes better.
Right, yeah.
But as far as safety things,
Charcoal, by the way.
I mean, the thing with gas is, if you have a problem, you can turn the gas off.
Right.
Charcoal, you pretty much are going to make a huge mess dumping water on it, or
absolutely,
whatever
yeah.
you need to do. So, but
Yeah.
again, that being said, if the grill's on fire, not a great idea to reach in and try to turn the gas off either. Again, just call 911, get out of the way.
Yeah.
And
on top of, maybe we should add this, checking the lines on your propane grill if you are using propane to make sure that they haven't rotted out the gas line, because I saw that happen on my dad's old grill, and I actually bought him a brand new one because there was literal flames coming out of right next to where the propane tank was because the line was frayed. So
Right.
Yeah.
And
might be something to keep
and the
in mind.
wire brushes are always a big deal too.
Yep.
We've heard the stories of people eating the hamburger with a piece of the wire from the wire brush, and causing major problems. So again, just focus on what you're doing. I know it's great, it's ready to go, and everybody's excited. The sun's out and they want to have a cookout.
Finally.
Just focus on what you got to do first before you get that grill season started.
Okay. Very good.
So.
All right. Lots of good info, guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully you got some good info out of this. Don't forget you can watch this a whole bunch of different ways, so you can go back and rewind and watch this from the beginning. But we talked about a bunch of really cool stuff just to help keep you safe at home. So thanks, guys, for all the work you do, all your efforts, and for coming in and talking today. When you're ready to come back again, we'll do another Fire Safety Blitz.
Yeah,
and
we'll
we
be
can
back.
talk
We'll
about
be
some
back
more
next
stuff.
month
Okay.
for another one.
Cool.
We'll schedule a time for it, and
We'll keep it monthly
I
this
believe
time.
actually we're going to the Senior Center next. Do you remember the date?
This Friday,
This
I think
Friday.
we'll be
This
there.
Friday,
Yep.
actually. Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, right.
We're going this Friday at, I think it's 11:30, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to meet and greet us live, then you can.
There you go.
We're kind of be talking about the same topics, but if you have any questions or whatever, you most certainly can come down and visit with us. And
Okay.
and I think they're offering a free lunch too. So
Nice. There you go. and then Saturday you're going to be doing the vehicle.
we're doing a vehicle
work.
extrication drill, which unfortunately is not really open to the public, but
Right. Yeah.
I think you're going to be going down covering it. And we're going to get some live video and stuff.
Yeah. We'll do some
on
stuff
that,
with it.
so-
Take some pics and do some
Yep,
video and whatnot. Yeah,
exactly.
it'll be fun.
Exactly.
So you get to see that firsthand too. So
Right.
be pretty cool. All right. Cool.
Awesome.
So
Very good.
I'll see you guys next month with another Fire Safety Blitz. I'll see all you guys on the next broadcast. Don't forget you can watch this a whole bunch of different ways: Facebook, YouTube, TyngsboroughMA.gov, and at Comcast 8 Verizon Channel 29. Any questions, feel free to send them in to me, sbrogan at TyngsboroughMA.gov. And if you also want to find out more about the Tyngsborough Fire Department and the stuff that they do, you can go to their website, tyngsboroughfire.com. With all that said, guys.
Oh, and our Facebook page too.
And Facebook, right? Follow them on Facebook. Yes.
So that list that we just spoke about we'll post it on Facebook this afternoon.
Okay.
And
Excellent.
and we can also, we're very receptive on any questions or stuff that you guys have through our Facebook page also.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Right. They do answer a lot of questions. So if you have any questions, and you can also call the fire department and
Absolutely.
get more information on anything, whether it's burning or all that stuff. And don't forget, May 1st is the last day that you can burn. So
Correct.
get your burning done now because
Yes.
you're running out of time. It's going quick. Today's the 24th, so you only got a few days left.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
All right,
Have a
thanks
good
so
one.
much.
All right,
You're
thank you.
welcome. Thank you. And thank you to everybody else. And I will see you all next time. Take it easy, everybody. Bye.
Bye.